Have you ever had the thought, like, I can't do that? Or I'm not as lucky as that person? Or that's just not in the cards for me. Like, this is the reality of where I'm at. Like, I just have to accept my fate in this job, with this relationship, or whatever it may be. Or what will people think? Like, if I do this, if I take this step, if I take this leap, I can't risk the judgment of what people will think. All these thoughts, we've all been there. We've also been in the place where we spiral in negative thought and we feel like we've jumped down a well that we can't get out of. Or we get a random thought of tragedy that really scares us, that involves us or our family, and you're like, what? In this video, we're gonna go a bit deeper into the mind and look at these things that have been running the show for so long. These things that we think we are, but we aren't. Our thoughts. Or better yet, thoughts. This is actually part 2, I would say, of a video that I launched a couple weeks ago, published a couple weeks ago, and it got a lot of engagement and people had a lot to say, which is beautiful. So if you stick to the end, I will be sharing that video so that you can go further into that aspect of looking at thought and looking at the mind, specifically when it comes to private thoughts, that we believe we have private thoughts, but we really don't. So if you stick around, I'll be sharing that at the end of the video. For anyone who's new on here, I've had a very, very deep spiritual transformation myself, and it's shifted my entire life. And now, after about 4 to 5 years of being in deep hermit mode and taking in the teachings of A Course in Miracles primarily as a base and foundation for my spiritual awakening and path, this is what I want to share with you today. The Course in Miracles is teaching us there are 2 paths, 2 choices that we have in the mind. But before we get to those choices, we have to know a little bit more about the mind, right? Because there's this idea that the mind is like in the brain, right? We have this idea, we believe that what we think is inside this area. But what if I told you that your mind is not in your brain or even in your body? Your body is inside the mind. The mind is this entire projection, this entire experience. This is the mind. And the body is part of the experience within the mind. And so that's so important to know, because then we are really taking it back to where it all starts, the mind. Yeah, the body is a reflection of things going on in the mind. The people around us are a reflection of patterns, of belief systems, of our curriculum that is given to us, right? Our script, specific to us, specific to our gifts, specific to our story, our family line. All of that is very specific because it is how we are going to wake up. It is our curricula for waking up, right? Our curriculum. So starting with that, the body is inside the mind. Therefore, the mind is the one that is running all of this, right? We are basically either experiencing one form of looking of life, which is through the spirit mind, through the mind of love, right? Through the mind of God. Ultimately, it is the bridge to God. And then there's the ego mind, the mind of fear, the mind of separation, the mind of destruction, of lack, of loss. All the things that this mind is not aware of, because this mind is pure wholeness, eternal. It is the ultimate state of who we are. It is our essence. And so we have this essence, we carry it with us. The mind always has it because it's the truth of who we are. And yet we have this other quote unquote mind that we've believed and we've powered and we've given center stage to for so long in our life that we think it's true. We think we're a victim to it. We think we're at the will of this mind. And awakening is coming to know, hold on, I'm not the will of this mind. This is everything I was programmed to believe. This was everything all my patterns, all even past generational lifetime, trauma, stories, all things that come from the ego that get passed on so that they can repeat themselves. It's literally how the ego continues to repeat itself. But if you're on this video, you, like me, are a cycle breaker, right? Are a generational curse breaker, or another way, are a miracle worker in the now. You are alchemizing these patterns, these things that you've carried with, that you've accepted, that were given to you in this experience, in your script. But it's all been given to you so that you can ultimately awaken to the truth of who you are. So we could say, for matters of speaking, that we have a spirit, love consciousness, and an ego, right? Separation consciousness. Course in Miracles is teaching us this one is not even real, but our power of belief makes it real to us. The power has always been in us, in our mind, right? And the light is always ready to shine through the illusion. So we believe our thoughts. If we're thinking them, it's kind of like, this is what's running the show. This is what's happening. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I believe about that, right? And most of those thoughts are coming from past programming, what our parents taught us, what society has taught us is right or wrong, or is good or bad, or is valuable, successful, all these ideas. This video is to let you know that you are not those thoughts. You are the mind within where those thoughts move. That's what you are. That is ultimately the spirit mind. That is a mind that connects us with the true source of love, God. And this mind is one that defines who we are, our background, our story, our culture, everything that comes from feeling separate from each other and ultimately from God. So we are actually tuning in to either one of these all the time, depending on where we are in our lives, depending on where we've been healing, depending on what level of consciousness we're at, right? And that level will shift as we heal, as we pay attention to the mind, as we become aware of the patterns, the traumas, the triggers that are keeping us from peace, that are keeping us from joy and authentic connection. And so as we connect more to the spirit mind, that doesn't mean, and we awaken and we heal, that doesn't mean that we lose complete access to the egoic consciousness. There's no such thing as never having a bad thought. Like, this idea that, oh my God, if I'm having bad thoughts, now I'm manifesting bad things in my life, or I'm a bad person, or no, what's going on is that for some reason, wherever your frequency is at, or what's going on in your life, or in your story, in your script, in your curriculum, for you to learn, for you to free yourself, for you to heal, you have accessed a thought from ego consciousness. Now, if you're unaware, you can fall into it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, into the well, and other thoughts will come like, whoa, I can't do that because I'm not good enough, because my parents won't allow it, because. And so that is why mind training is a huge part of what I'm going to share here, and what I speak on that video that I will be sharing with you as well. Mind training is the way to watch your mind, to become aware of the thoughts that are coming through, because they are not you. You are the observer of the thoughts. They're really, ultimately, the Course in Miracles would say there are no thoughts, and even who you believe you are is not ultimately the truth. But for the sake of this video, let's just understand that since we know we are not our thoughts, think of thoughts like the clouds in the sky, and think of the mind as the space where the clouds move, right? And sometimes we believe that the clouds is all there is. We don't see the sun, we don't see the sky, we don't see the blue sky. And that is, in essence, the ego consciousness, right? The clouds, but they're ultimately not real. They're just, what happens when you actually put your hand through a cloud, right? Or through fog? What happens? Nothing, because it dissipates, it breaks through. It seems like this solid thing that's going to, like fear. It seems so real. And then when you walk towards it, you realize it's an illusion. You realize you're capable. You realize you have more to give, to expand, but fear has been holding you back. And so here are two things that you can do today to begin the practice, to work the muscle of mind training, right? Of mindfulness, of watching the mind. First one is meditation. Yeah, it's not something that, connects with everybody, but meditation in and of itself is a wonderful practice. And it's not meant to make you stop thinking, right? Let's also break that myth. Meditation is a place where you come and watch your mind and you let your thoughts come by like clouds in the sky, and you let them keep going. You don't judge, you just watch. Oh, look, I'm thinking about that. Oh, I'm worrying about dinner. Oh, interesting. And you come back to your breath, but you don't make judgments about it, and you also don't take the bait on them and then get caught up and go to a million places. And if you do, that's okay. As soon as you notice, you come back to the breath. You come back to feeling your body, to the space you're in. And so that is the practice. With that awareness, you begin to detach a little bit from the thoughts you have. You don't see them as you, but something that is happening within you. And then the second practice is journaling. Grabbing a journal when you wake up, especially if you have a lot of things on your mind, or when things are taking over, when you can't make a decision, you feel stuck, your energy's foggy, you have a lot of choices, it's not clear, you're obsessing about something, whatever it is, right? All of these thoughts are mostly, if you're not at peace, coming from the ego. Probably all. Why am I saying mostly? Any thought that's not bringing you peace is for sure coming from the ego. And so you want to be able to expose them. And a way to expose them is to put them on a page. And not only are you exposing them, but you're becoming mindful of all the thoughts that are coming in. And these are the thoughts that you're tuning into for whatever reason. We're not going to judge if that's good or bad or add guilt, like, oh no, I'm thinking these thoughts. Remember, please remember, we're not going to judge it. We're just going to observe this is what's coming out, because the most powerful thing you can do is allow the space to expose the ego, to expose the crap that's going on in the mind that's keeping you at a certain frequency or vibration, if you want to say, and not allowing you to access, to tune in to what is really truly you, which is peace, which is love, which is rest, which is your God essence, the Christ mind that is pure love, pure light. And so we have to be able to look at what's blocking us from it so that we can release it and expose it. As soon as you expose darkness to the light, darkness disappears because the light shines away the darkness, right? It's not about putting the darkness away under the rug and hiding it or not confronting it. Trust me that it feels like it's discomforting, but to go towards the discomfort, to go towards the fear, that's how you realize how smaller and smaller and smaller and ultimately unreal it is. That is the way we move and we heal. We go towards it. And a step, journaling, another step, meditation. You see which one can work for you. And so to close this all off, you are not your thoughts. Thoughts are just thoughts. You are the space that holds the thoughts. We are the space that holds the thoughts. And in the realm of the mind, right? Any thought is either of spirit, love consciousness, or of ego, fear consciousness. okay? And we are tapping into one or the other. It is collective. It is connected to all minds, right? That is why in the other video I talk about private minds. Private minds really don't exist. That's an idea of the ego, of separation. And we think that we're all living in a private world, with a private life. So I'm gonna add that video here at the end so that you can check it out and go deeper into this idea of private minds and private thoughts, which is big in the Course in Miracles as well. And lastly, we can remember that we are spirit mind. That is who we truly are. And the grand awakening and the whole idea of healing is releasing our connections to our roots, our deeply rooted beliefs in this thought system that have been guiding our lives. But it's not who we are. We are the connection to God. We are the spirit, pure mind of love. That is who we truly are. So that's the video for today. I hope this was helpful to you. Please let me know in the comments what you think, what came up for you. And if you haven't subscribed or hit the like button, please do sprinkle some love on there. It's so lovely to have you. I'm Steph. This is Spirit Led Steph, a life led by the Spirit. And I want you to join me in letting Spirit, love, lead you too. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, if that calls to you, check out the link below. I also just started a new, very different class, which challenges the beliefs in the mind. It's called Worship Yoga, uniting the worlds of worship with yoga, activating the heart, opening the mind, and connecting us with the true divine self that we are. If that calls to you, also check out the link below and join us for the next class. It's every Saturday online. All right, love you all. Till next time.